Yosef Chaim, we don't let children touch fires. That's very dangerous. So you know what? The little boy challenged his father. He said, Abba, ask me a question in the Torah. If I know it, I'm a big boy, I can hold the fire. So he asked him an easy question. He asked him, why do we make a bracha by Havdalah Motzai Shabbos? First on the wine, then the besamim, then the fire. Listen to what a 4-year-old boy answered. He says, Abba, that's easy. Every day we have to go up in our service to Hashem. So first we have to make a bracha, what goes in our mouth, the wine. Higher up is our nose, that's what we use to smell the spices. Higher up is the eyes, which have to look at the candle. And on top of it all is our brain, which has to separate between Kedusha and Chol, the Shabbos and the weekday. I guess the father let him hold the fire. And you know what? He became the great Ben Ish Chai, who was like the Reish Galusa of Bavel, from the last Gedolim of Bavel, which is today's Iraq, which was the headquarters for the Talmud Bavli. And many yeshivas today study his Ben Yehoyada with amazing insights into the Torah. When he was a child, they say he fell into a well and he almost drowned. His sister, I think it was the one that saved him, and he was a little kid. And he said, if Hashem saved me, it must be Hashem wants me to learn Torah and teach it to others. And his whole life, he felt he owed Hashem for saving his life, and that was his obligation to learn Torah. Wow. Now let me tell you a story about Rabbi Aaron Kotler. Rabbi Aaron Kotler used to go to Manhattan. He lived in Borough Park and he had a yeshiva in Lakewood. But he would raise money from businesses. And one time a balabas was so mean to him, he treated him like a regular commoner without even giving him an appointment and time. And Rabbi Simcha Bunim was there. And he said, Rabbi, I'm sorry, I'm so embarrassed. How could this Gvir be so obnoxious and so arrogant, not even giving the Rosh Hashiva of Slutsk a meeting? And if Aaron told him, don't worry. Aminas came basi. 4 words. I came with this in mind. In other words, I have to suffer for Torah. I have to raise money for the yeshiva. It's not easy, but this is my job. I might be embarrassed. It's okay. I'm willing to be embarrassed. No wonder today, the most beautiful community probably in the entire world practically is the Lakewood community, because it was built on Mesiras Nefesh, on devotion, on humility, and even shame. Today, it's a privilege to walk through the streets of Lakewood. Now, Reb Elia Tzvei built a yeshiva next to Lakewood in Philadelphia. One time he made a statement that made my hair stand up. He said a lot of yeshivas owe money. But you know what? If every yid would give Meiser 10% of his income, there wouldn't be a yeshiva today suffering without money. So that could teach us and everyone to be more careful to share their wealth with yeshivas. Now I want to tell you a story about Blazer Gordon. When he was a kid, guess what? He fell out of the carriage into the snow. And his mother didn't even see it. When she realized on the way to his bris milah, they were traveling and the baby fell out, she thought the worst. They turned around and followed their tracks in the snow. But you know what? There was a big wolf with long, furry, shabby fur that was keeping him warm in the snow so he shouldn't freeze to death. And he was in perfect health. And they named him Eliezer, which means Hashem saved him. And he became the builder of the Telz Yeshiva, Blazer Gordon. He loved Torah so much. And one time he was learning, he had a gold watch, and he had a cup of tea, and he by accident picked up his watch to stir the tea instead of stirring it with a spoon. But someone noticing said, what? How could you put your gold watch in tea? By him, Torah was gold. So what's a gold watch? This is nothing compared to Torah. So by him, it didn't even have these material wealths. Reb Chaim Stein rebuilt the Telz Yeshiva from Europe. He helped rebuild it here on the soil. Reb Chaim said the Nazis might have been successful at destroying the guf of the yeshiva, the body, the building. but not the soul. The soul is forever. It's eternal. The spirit cannot be destroyed. And just like one time the Goyim burned the Sifrei Torah and a miracle happened, the Isis went in the ear. The same thing with the Luchais. The stones broke, but the letters flew. He said, wherever a letter of their Torah landed, that's where a new yeshiva is built. One time Rabbi Yitzchak Kuttner was learning, and a man came in and said, I need a shidduch for my daughter. Show me the best bacher in yeshiva. So he was a rich man. So he said, oh, he's the best bacher, and he's the best bacher, and he's the best bacher, and he's the best bacher. So the man said, I'm getting dizzy. Who's the best? So Rabbi Hutner said, let me explain. He's the best in understanding Rashi's question. He's the best in remembering a Tosfos. He's the best in his handwriting and neatness. He's the best. He always comes on time for shul. Rabbi Hutner always was able to look at each Talmud and find out what is he the best at. Reb Moshe and Reb Aaron Kotler and Reb Moshe Feinstein built yeshivas in America. They were pioneers. Thanks to them, there's so much yeshivas today. So Rabbi Yaakov Bender once made a joke. He said the old rabbis of 1940, 1950, they used to have 2 phones in their house. You know why? If a lady called up with a shaila and the Rav didn't know the answer, he would put her on hold for a minute. He would pick up the other phone, call up Rav Moshe Feinstein, ask the shaila. Rav Moshe would pick up the phone himself, get the tshuva, and then pick up the other line and answer her. One time, Reb Aaron wasn't sure he should come to America. He wanted to stay in Kletsk, but the Nazis were attacking. So he made a Goyol Agra. He opened up a Chumash and it came to the pasuk, Aaron, go to the desert and meet your brother Moshe. And Reb Aaron said, that's a message. Hashem wants me to go to America, which was a Midbar, and greet my brother Reb Moshe Feinstein. Do I have 10 minutes left of your time? Please let me wrap up. One time a guy with jeans and a t-shirt walks into Yeshiva Shar Yashiv looking for a job to be the janitor. He said, I need to speak to the head. So Rabbi Freifeld talked to him. He said, you're Jewish, right? I said, yeah. Didn't look Jewish. He said, you ever learn in the yeshiva? I said, yeah. Dropped out. So Rabbi Freifeld told him, I want you to become a Rebbe in the yeshiva and I'll pay you even more. He says, yeah, very funny. Looking at his jeans and t-shirt, he wasn't even wearing a yarmulke. Rabbi Freifeld said, don't worry. I got a few cool boys in my school. They will learn a lot from you because you're cool, in their opinion. So I'll teach you the Gemara and then you'll say it over to them and I'll pay you better than a janitor. The guy thought he was joking, but he saw his sincerity and he became their Rebbe. And today he has a family living in Kailul and Eretz Yisrael. It takes a gadol to see behind the mask, behind the masquerade, the costume. The Pintel Yid. Reb Gifter, I had the pleasure to grow up with because I was in Cleveland. Sometimes he would point to a boy and he would say, this boy is going to be a great Maggid Shir one day. So one time he told the boy, the boy said, I want to be a Rosh Hashiva, not just the Maggid Shir. I want to be the Rosh. So you know what he said to him? Don't become a Rosh Hashiva. Ever since I became a Rosh Hashiva, I stopped learning. He says, why? Because now I have to raise money for the yeshiva. I'm busy thinking of my connections all day. He says, and by the way, he's the one who hooked up Schattenstein with Art School. By the way. But the point I'm trying to say is, he said, be a Maggid Shir. Prepare a shir, you won't have to worry about the salaries, and then you'll be able to learn. Now, there was once a rabbi named Rabbi Yom Tov Heller, and his son was very sick. Yeah. Who's that? Someone here? Yeah. And you know what he said? He said, I bet Hashem was upset at me because when I wrote my notes on Mishnayos, I sometimes used to bash other rabbis. I would say, oh, that one that explained the Mishnah like this, he forgot a pasuk, he doesn't know. And I said, I'm sure Hashem was upset. So right then he was about to burn his notes. And his son called out, Abba, Abba. And then he said, what? He saw his son was getting better. He said, Abba, I was about to be in the other world. And Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi said, let him live. his father wrote notes on the Mishnayos, and he changed all the insults, and he made very nice the Taisus Yantiv like we have today. One time a mother said to Rabbi Micha Yehuda Lefkowitz that her son is off the derech. He said, do you sing songs on the Shabbos table? She said, not really. He said, these songs are not Geisha songs like London Bridge is falling down and Mary had a little lamb. This is songs that were made up by Kedoshim, the Ariya Kaddish. These songs from Shlomo Alkabetz made up. These songs are so holy. He says, these songs are made up by Tanoim Amoraim. You sing their songs, you're Mekadosh the house. This is not songs like Geisha songs. Patty cake, bake me a cake. All right. Girls and boys, what's a bigger miracle? Getting out of Egypt, out of Mitzrayim, or being able to go to the bathroom? What's a bigger miracle? So I always thought Mitzrayim. Came the great Rabbi Yerucham Levovitz. He says you should say the bracha of Asher Yatzar with as much enthusiasm as Halil on Pesach. Because this is, you call it nature. To Hashem, it's just a big miracle to make your body function regular, normal, healthy. And you should say that bracha with intensity. He used to say you should walk around with a smile. Why? Because if you're sad, people might think it's sad to be a Jew. You have to show them it's a glickite. Here is a great Rav, Rabbi Yisachar Meyer. Do you know sometimes he used to forget to go to sleep at night? Sometimes in the morning he would be drowsy, and his chavrusa said, why is the Rosh Hashiva so tired? He says, last night I forgot to go to sleep. I was learning Torah, and I knew I forgot something. And then when everyone started walking in for davening, I realized, I forgot to sleep last night. Wow. Like Shavuos. Wow. This is the Belzer Rebbe, the Frierdiker Rebbe. Do you know that many times in the night he would wake up and start davening for people? And he didn't sleep too much. They said, why are you davening for people? He says, because while I was dreaming, I dreamed about people's sorrows. So right away I got up, washed my hands, and I davened for them. One time, Rabbi Itzer Meltzer did not go into his house. He kept on walking out of his house, up the stairs, down the stairs. Someone said, is everything okay? Listen to what he said. He said, there's a widow that comes to clean the house for Shabbos, and she's singing to herself a niggin. And if I come in, she's going to stop. Do I have a right to stop someone's joy? Some people sing to themselves. It's enjoyable. Should I take away her enjoyment because I have to get into my house? So he kept on leaving his house down the stairs. I don't think it was easy for him to go up those stairs. I shouldn't stop another Yid's enjoyment. Kinderlach, we learned a lot today about Gedolim. But before I close, I want to tell you that there's so much more to say. There's so much more to share. I think I used up my time, right? Yeah. So I want to ask Rabbi Boylan that he should remember we got up to slide 138. And I'm really supposed to get up to slide 217. So please, Rabbi Boylan, the next time we speak, please let's discuss slide 139.